a digital course creation business is full of hoops to jump through, obstacles to avoid, and decisions to make. Perfectionism is the single biggest saboteur of the entrepreneurial spirit and the biggest indicator of potential failure as a digital course creator. I know that your intention as a digital course creator is to get your course out to the people who need it the most and make a profit while you're doing it. But what is the likelihood of that happening if you let perfectionism creep in? There are 3 beliefs that many digital course creators have that will lead to failure, and they might not be what you think. Belief number 3 is a bit counterintuitive, so I'll be sharing more on that one at the end of today's episode to save you some angst and time.
Anyone can add a digital course to their business. So what sets the 6-figure course creators apart? You're about to find out. Welcome to the Digital Course Creator Podcast with Dr. Maura, a longtime entrepreneur now using her PhD in psychology to help you go from sticky notes to sales worth celebrating.
As a digital course creator, you are passionate about helping your students to make a change, whether it is learning a new skill, maybe it's creating a better connection with their children, or just having more fun in their life. That passion carries through into your course. But there are 3 beliefs that can sabotage all of your hard efforts, your time, and your investments. If we aren't looking out for these beliefs that creep in, kind of like your dog trying to steal a snack off the kitchen counter when your back is turned, you will be knocked down and your course is much more likely to fail. That's certainly not what I want for you. So let's talk through these beliefs, and let's start off with the most obvious but still often overlooked belief that creeps in, and that is the idea that every decision has to be quote unquote right. Do not agonize. Think about it this way. Do you agonize over which napkin container to grab a napkin from at your local coffee shop? No, you just choose one. Do you worry about whether you wash the darks or the lights first during your weekly laundry? No. So why do we worry so much about finding the exact right combination of tech for our digital course business? We want to make sure that we're set up for success, right? And as someone who loves tech, oh my gosh, I love to test out different platforms. And what I can tell you is that trying to find the perfect tech for your business will leave you with more gray hairs than you currently have today. If having a perfect tech combination was a determining factor in having a profitable digital course business, then we wouldn't have too many different tech choices available to us. Once someone created the perfect tech combination, there would be no use for other companies to create products, right? You've probably heard, as you're researching which tech things to use inside your business, you've probably heard from fellow entrepreneurs that this tech combination or that tech combination is the one that's perfect. But if you keep talking to digital course creators, what you're going to find out is that everyone has what they perceive to be the perfect combination. And none of the combinations are the same. They're all different. If you continue to search for the perfect tech combination, chances are that you will never get your course finished and launched. How do I know? Because I have watched countless digital course creators stall when choosing tech. Sometimes they stall for 4, 5, 6, or even more months at a time. So what's the solution if tech feels overwhelming and you really do want to launch sooner rather than later and you don't want perfectionism to take over? Well, your perfect tech combination will be one that's going to fit your budget. It's going to have the features you need for your course and is easy for you to use. It isn't what's right for someone else. It's what's right for you and your business. If you can move past this hurdle, you are that much closer to launching your course. But a new pesky belief starts to creep in at this point. And trust me, this is one that every single one of my clients has struggled with at some point. And that is finding the perfect time to launch. Imagine that you are planning a trip and you want to make the best possible time. Do you wait until all of the traffic lights turn green between your home and your destination before you pull out of your driveway? No. Do you wait until your child can run perfectly to let them take off through the playground in gleeful pursuit of that fun slide? No, you let them go. Yet all too often, we postpone launching a digital course until we find the perfect time. We put so much of our time, energy, and hearts into our digital courses that we want everything to go off without a hitch. But the perfect time to launch is a myth. If you have kids, you will know that there was no perfect time to build your family. Regardless of how you build your family, there will always be things that you wish were in place before bringing kids into your home. The same is true of launching. But I want you to imagine that trip that you put off until all of the traffic lights were green. In 10 years, would you regret not going on that trip because obviously all the traffic lights are not green at the same time? You probably would regret missing that trip because you waited for something that really wasn't a likelihood. Would you regret holding your kiddo back on the playground and then missing out on the fun dinosaur slide? Probably so. The same is true of our digital course launches. We have to launch in order to make a difference. And I know that you're probably committed to making a difference. But that only happens when the course is available to be purchased and worked through. Action will beat perfection every single time because perfection doesn't exist. The perfect time for you to launch might be a terrible time for your potential students, and vice versa. The perfect time for your potential students might be a super busy family time for you. Having worked with students and entrepreneurs for 15 plus years, I can tell you that often it isn't about actually finding the perfect timing for something, in this case, a launch, but instead it's worrying about whether or not what you're creating is going to be good enough. It's going to meet everyone's expectations. How do I know? Because when I work with my clients, when I teach my students, I hear the same thing over and over, and that is, what if what I'm doing is not good enough? What if people don't get value out of what I'm doing? What if I've missed an error? And it's fair that we think this way because school teaches us to submit perfect work to get a perfect grade. But remember that English paper you submitted that you worked on so hard, you wrote a lot of drafts. You submitted it for feedback in a very imperfect way, right? Your course is going to be the same way. You will have iterations of your course that will make it better and better. Look at digital course creators like Amy Porterfield and Stu McLaren. They are both in the multi-8-figure, maybe even more than that, income range, and yet they re-record their main courses every 2 to 3 years to make them better. They update the content, they find new ways of sharing difficult concepts, and they take stuff out that flat out doesn't work or isn't helpful. So you can continue to wait for that perfect time to launch, when it fits everyone's schedules, when the course is perfect, when everything's just so, or you can jump in now and know that you will make your course better and better over time. I want you to think about which path you're going to take. I am going to assume that as you think about this, since you're still listening, that you are committed to building your digital course and making a difference in the world with your expertise. So I'm going to assume that you're going to move forward with that launch. And that leads us to the third belief that is very much like stepping into quicksand. The more you struggle, the more you sink into the abyss of questions. And that is trying to figure out what to price your course, how to price your course, what price should your course be. Take your pick. Consider this. Water is essential and often free, right? Even when we go to a restaurant and we say, could I just have a glass of tap water? They say, sure. They bring it to the table when you get the bill at the end of the night or the end of the meal. It doesn't charge you for that tap water. Yet diamonds, which rarely have a practical purpose, are exorbitant in their cost. If a higher price tag doesn't necessarily mean that something is more vital or critical, then why do we feel like we have to constantly up the price of our course or feel pressured into doing that? We're so often pushed during course creation to charge your worth. We can start with a lower price, but then we need to get to the point where we're charging more and sometimes a lot more. And it's not just one person or two people that tell you this, it's a lot of people. And you start to doubt how you should price your course. I am pretty sure that the intention here is to really make sure that digital course creators get to a sustainable level of income, one that allows you to buy more than ramen noodles at the grocery store. But this can also cause a lot of mixed emotions and can even create business decisions that can hurt us. In fact, I watched a business just a little while ago. They were advertising that they were doing away with their lifetime deal at the end of the month, and that their regular prices, like their monthly prices, were also going to go up, and everyone should go ahead, get in at these lower prices. And I always watch these because I'm curious to know, are they going to follow through, or are they just going to run that same promotion again the next month? They did indeed do away with the lifetime deal, and they did in fact raise their prices pretty significantly to be in line with the rest of the industry that they're in. And this lasted a grand total of about 2 weeks. Then they sent out an email saying they made a mistake. They had a lot of complaints that the company was moving away from their vision and their mission and their values in an effort to make more money. They were losing authority in their niche fast, and they had to backpedal. It was really tricky because they couldn't just simply reinstate the old pricing model because they had promised that it was going away. And they like being transparent as a company. So the new pricing model made for angry customers and potential customers, right? They finally chose a middle ground. They couldn't roll completely back. They couldn't stay where they were. So what they did was they brought back the lifetime deal at a higher rate, and they lowered the monthly rates to be just a tad higher than they were before. So what happened is that they found the middle ground, right? They didn't go back, but they were able to regain some of the trust that their community had in them. Pricing should reflect the value that's delivered, but setting prices too high without a corresponding value perception can really deter potential students, especially if the price shift seems to go against everything that the company has stood for up until this point. The key is to find a balance that reflects the course's worth and the market expectations. There are plenty of high-priced courses out there that are not worth the return. There are plenty of courses out there that are dirt cheap and leave you wondering, why aren't they charging more while you're simultaneously doing a happy dance because they aren't charging more? I purchased a course once that was about half the price what I thought it should be. I implemented what I learned on the first day, so I didn't even make it the whole way through the course, and I made all of my money back within 24 hours. I've purchased other courses, and years later, I still can't tie a clear return on investment to that purchase. And I do keep track of these things. I keep track of what did I implement that created a shift in my business that allowed me to have that return on investment. So let me ask you, when you're thinking about pricing your course, are you going to do what everyone tells you to do and keep raising your prices, or are you going to find a happy middle ground, or are you going to stick with your lower prices? There isn't a right or a wrong answer here, provided that your choices are in alignment with your purpose, your vision, your mission, and your values, and that you take action. As those of you who have been listening to the podcast for any length of time know, I'm really big on taking action. It is all fine and good to listen to a podcast, but what you implement is really where the gold lies. This week, be on the lookout for these 3 beliefs that we've been talking about. They can absolutely creep in at any moment, any day, whether you're an established digital course creator or a brand new digital course creator just getting started in the process. Chances are you are going to see these beliefs popping up in others. If you're in groups with other course creators, start to be on the lookout for them. Develop radar for these. Recognize those beliefs and think about what you might do in their situation. This will give you some really solid practice for when these beliefs crop up in your own mind. You are going to be better prepared to tackle them immediately rather than letting them grow out of control like the weeds that are taking over my flower beds right now. Beliefs are something that can make or break our success as digital course creators, and it all comes down to mindset mastery. Mindset is something that I've been managing in my own business with my students in my college courses for over 15 years as a psych professor, as a mentor, as an entrepreneur. Too often in the world, we are bombarded with learning solutions. Learn this and you'll be able to do that. It puts us into this cycle of learning without ever taking action, without necessarily recognizing the importance of mindset in what it is we're doing and in our success. We can't just rely on learning to get to that 6-figure mark as a course creator. The books, the podcasts, the courses, the workshops, they get us partially there, probably 10% of the way there. But the other 90%, that comes down to mindset work and often through one-on-one support. If you are listening today and you're realizing that you are ready to take the next steps in your business and get one-on-one customized, tailored help with building your digital course creation business, let's have a talk. Send me a DM at Digital Course Creator Guide on either Instagram or Facebook, and we'll sit down to figure out what your next right steps are for your digital course business. But I know that not everyone is ready for a one-on-one coach or mentor. But maybe you still have questions. Maybe you need help getting unstuck or just plotting out your next step. I'm here for that as well, because we all deserve to have support in our business. If you need a little bit of extra support, I have at least 2 slots each week held open for strategy calls that are designed to help you get unstuck and take action in your business. These are free, no obligation calls, and you can schedule your call at coursecalls.com. If you're ready to make the next 12 months the year that you go from being an uncertain course creator to a 6-figure course creator, schedule a strategy call now. Again, that link was coursecalls.com, and I'll pop it in the show notes for you too. Now let's get back to that third belief that can really upend any digital course business, and that is how to price your course. We always feel like a high course price equals high value. The key to finding the right price for your digital course is going to be twofold to start. The first question that you have to ask yourself is, what price feels and looks comfortable? If you aren't comfortable with the price, then you are not going to be able to sell anything. People sense fear and worry when we're not confident in something. And if we can't confidently say, my course costs, then it's probably not the right price. The second question is, what is your audience actually willing to pay? There are some who say that a committed potential student will find a way to make it work. And while that's true, there are plenty of committed students who flat out cannot afford a specific price point and above. You have to find the mix of what feels good for you and your business and what has people saying yes to your course. Everyone's going to have an opinion on this, but at the end of the day, your opinion matters the most in your business and in choosing the price for your course. And if you want more quick solutions for building a successful digital course business, be sure to hit subscribe or follow now. And if you are ready to take action and you want to make sure that you are taking the right actions inside your digital course creation business, check out episodes 188 and 189 of the Digital Course Creator podcast, where I share the top 5 mistakes to avoid and the top 5 actions to adopt in your business. Until next time, happy creating.